Canto 6, Chapter 17, text number 11. Shri Parvati Uvacha Ayam Kim Aduna Loke Jasta Dandadara Prabhu Asmadvitanam Dushtanam Nilanjanam Cha Viprakrita Prakrit Prakrit Shri Parvati Uvacha Ayam Kim Aduna Loke Shasta Dandadara Prabhu Asmat Vidhanam Dushtanam Nilanjanam Cha Viprakrit. The goddess Parvati said, Alas, has this upstart now received a post from which to punish shameless persons like us? Has he been appointed ruler, carrier of the rod of punishment? Is he now the only master of everything? And I'll just go on with the translation text 12. Alas, Lord Brahma, who has taken his birth from the lotus flower, does not know the principles of religion, nor do the great saints like Bhrigu and Narada, nor the four Kumaras, headed by Sanat Kumar. Manu and Kapila have also forgotten the religious principles. I suppose it is to be because of this that they have not tried to stop Lord Shiva from behaving improperly. Text 13. This Chitraketu is the lowest of Kshatriyas, for he has impudently overridden Brahma and the other demigods by insulting Lord Shiva, upon whose lotus feet they always meditate. Lord Shiva is personified religion and the spiritual master of the entire world. And therefore, Chitraketu must be punished. Purport. All the members of the assembly were exalted brahmanas and self-realized souls, but they did not say anything about the conduct of Lord Shiva, who was embracing the goddess Parvati on his lap. Chitraketu, nonetheless, criticized Lord Shiva, and therefore the opinion of Parvati was that he should be punished. Text 14. This person is puffed up because of his achievements, thinking, I am the best. He does not deserve to approach the shelter of Lord Vishnu's lotus feet, which are worshipped by all saintly persons, for he is impudent, thinking himself greatly important. If a devotee thinks that he is very much advanced in devotional service, he is considered puffed up and unfit to sit beneath the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. Again, this instruction by Lord Chaitanya is applicable. Trinadapi Suniche Nator P Sahishnana Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Unless one is humble and meek, one cannot qualify to sit at the lotus feet of the Lord. Text 15. Oh, impudent one, my dear son, now take birth in a low, sinful family of demons. so that you will not commit such an offense again toward exalted saintly persons in this world. Report. One should be very careful not to commit offenses at the lotus feet of Vaishnavas, of whom Lord Shiva is the best. While instructing Srila Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described an offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava as Hati Mata, a mad elephant. When a mad elephant enters a nice garden, it spoils the entire garden. Similarly, if one becomes like a mad elephant and commits offenses at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, his entire spiritual career is halted. One should therefore be very careful not to commit offenses at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Paragraph. Mother Parvati was justified in punishing Chitraketu. For Chitraketu impudently criticized the Supreme Father Mahadev, who is the father of living entities conditioned within the material world. The goddess Durga is called Mother, and Lord Shiva is called Father. A pure Vaishnava should be very careful to engage in his specific duty without criticizing others. This is the safest position. Otherwise, if one tends to criticize others, he may commit the great offense of criticizing a Vaishnava. Because Chitraketu was undoubtedly a Vaishnava, he might have been surprised that Parvati had cursed him. Therefore, the goddess Parvati addressed him as Putra, or son. Everyone is the son of Mother Durga, but she is not an ordinary mother. As soon as there is a small discrepancy in a demon's behavior, Mother Durga immediately punishes the demon so that he may come to his senses. This is explained by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 7:14. Daivihi esha gunamayi mama maya turatyaya mameva ye prapadyante mayametam tarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. To surrender to Krishna means to surrender to his devotees also, for no one can be a proper servant of Krishna unless he is a proper servant of a devotee. Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Payeche Keba. Without serving a servant of Krishna, one cannot be elevated to being a servant of Krishna himself. Therefore, Mother Parvati spoke to Chitraketu exactly like a mother who says to her naughty child, "My dear child, I'm punishing so that you won't do anything like this again." This tendency of a mother to punish her child is found even in Mother Yashoda, who became the mother of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mother Yashoda punished Krishna by binding him and showing him a stick. Thus, it is the duty of a mother to chastise her beloved son, even in the case of the Supreme Lord. It is to be understood that Mother Durga was justified in punishing Chitraketu. It is to be understood, this punishment was a boon to Chitraketu, because after taking his birth as the demon Vritrasura, he was promoted directly to Vaikuntha. Well, pretty complicated, as you were mentioning yesterday, a little complicated. multiple complicated. On the one hand, and on the other hand, or one hand, the other hand. So Chitraketu was complimenting Lord Shiva. Parvati took it. He is criticizing Lord Shiva. So if you get a joke, you better be careful who you're joking with, because it may be misunderstood. And somebody could take offense, and who knows what will happen if that happens. But all's well that ends well. That's one of the messages here. That is, all these, just back and back, step back and back. All these arrangements were mercy of the great devotee Narada Muni, who delivered Chitraketu from his illusion, and then Chitraketu did what Chitraketu did, and he became the king of the Vidyadhara Loka, and and so on and so forth. It's the mercy, it's the thread of the mercy of Narada Muni playing out in a complicated way. But back to the flow of the events. He said Parvati understood, misunderstood, but she understood. And based upon that misunderstanding, she uttered a curse. First, she was chastising the demigods headed by Lord Brahma. So she has, one might say, one might think, gosh, that's her offense. Criticize Vaishnavas, right? And she's criticizing this one, that one, and the other one, because they said nothing. They heard Chitraketu offended Lord Shiva, and they said nothing. Shame on them, So, is it proper? In certain circumstances, it's proper. If there's a transgression, you could say nothing, but you could also say something. And in her case, she has the stature and the Shakti, the spiritual potency, to speak. So one can argue, she's wrong. She didn't understand Chitraketu's words. And also she's wrong because she shouldn't have, in a public forum, spoken anything against. There's many, many injunctions about Vaishnava Aparad. And even to think what to speak of, speak harshly about exalted personalities. And did she get a reaction for that? We don't hear about her getting a reaction for that. She's in a position as the Shakti of Lord Shiva that she, on the one hand, has the prerogative to speak such things without offense, but also has the understanding of what to say, what not to say in such a circumstance. So it was, in one sense, it was just a warm up for what's coming next. And what's coming next is you become a demon. And the purpose of that curse, as being described in the purport here, Prabhupada is indicating, like a mother may say to a naughty child. Now, some mothers won't say, and some others may say. And if some mother may say, of course, they may not be coming from a transcendental position, but if, in this case, the transcendental position is, I want to protect you so that you'll learn a lesson and won't do this again, like Mother Yasoda binding Krishna. The logic of Mother Yasoda binding Krishna is, I don't mind your naughty behavior, but I'm your mother. Her consciousness is that's who she is. She's the mother. And it's her duty as mother to train the child not to steal. Because if a child steals as a child and then grows up, they may become a thief or steal without restriction, thinking it's okay because they haven't learned a lesson. So as mother, she wanted Krishna to learn a lesson that he won't duplicate in the future. I mean, lessons just doesn't guarantee anything in the in material world, but at least in terms of Leela, it's a mother's duty. And if she does with a stick in her hand, it's not whack the child. She didn't hit him, but he was afraid of the stick in her hand, and he started crying. So she threw the stick away. She understood that's why he's crying, so she threw the stick away. Anyway, the Leela is very wonderful, and so is this one. Certainly, the Damodar Leela is more celebrated amongst Vaishnavas, but the same principle is here. She, Parvati, is in the mood of a mother, my dear child, indicating her mood, how she is seeing. It's not a child; he's a king of Vidyadharas. He has power. He's not just a little boy, but my dear son. In the sense that this is discussed in the purport, but uh, the father and the mother, and the father, at least this particular feature of father, providing necessities for their dependent children. So Lord Shiva is capable and does for those who approach him in that mood. He supplies whatever they want, good, bad, or mixed. Ashutosh, and as he's the mother, he's the father, she's the mother. Not in the same sense as Prakriti, but Prakriti is the mother of all living entities because living entities take birth from Prakriti. But then a feature of Parvati is like that. She's one of the Supreme Lord's potencies as the wife or consort of Lord Shiva. It's a interesting function, and we normally don't speak of or think of Parvati as the mother of all living entities, but it's being discussed here. It's touched upon here. So material nature is the mother, and Krishna is the seed-giving father. So that's the higher sense, the higher order of things. Bija Pratak Pita, seed-giving father of all living entities. But then there's other relationships where there's fathers and mothers. But in the higher order, Krishna is the original, and this is somewhere in between. So other fathers and mothers. At least she has that affection, a motherly-like affection, and she can be very harsh, disciplinarian kind of a mother. So don't mess with Parvati. But the main point at the conclusion of all this is it's a benediction. A great personality. There's many, many, many examples, nice examples, but when a great personality by their becoming angry at misconduct and they punish the misconduct person, it's a benediction because as opposed to things that are of this world where people do things out of spite and anger and retribution and you know nasty just because they're provoked, and so they say or do something nasty. They step way back, and what's the purpose of creation? To provide an opportunity for the living entities to enjoy, and to provide an opportunity for living entities to learn lessons. So, in the lesson learning of the school of hard knocks, or some suffering comes, and one may or may not recognize, gosh, this separate enjoyment program was a big mistake. Let me correct my ways. Let me turn to those means that can redirect and align myself with the Supreme. Thus, the Vedas and the purpose of creation. Built into the purpose of creation, there's the providing of the pathway to rectification of that mistake. But pay your dues. You pay the price for the mistake and become corrected. In Chitraketu's case, he hadn't made the mistake anyways. So correcting one who hasn't made the mistake becomes a lot easier than correcting one who has made a mistake and doesn't recognize it. So as Vritrasura, the story will unfold in upcoming verses. He, Chitraketu, in the body of Vritrasura, is going to behave like a demon. He does like a demon kinds of behaviors, but at the same time, he has consciousness of a great personality. And when circumstance provides it, he's going to say the transcendental message, because that's his consciousness. Although he's performing the activity opposite. Very, very interesting and complex, as you were discussing yesterday. So how to unravel the complex. Follow the narration, particularly the commentary by our acharyas, and they'll lead us, from one point to the next point to the other next point of the history, and understand the bigger picture of what's going on. Again, the mercy of Narada Muni, because here's this fellow that was overly attached personality, like super, super, super madly attached personality. And he became freed from that mad attachment and transferred the attachment to the transcendental attachment, and then further purification going forward. Sounds like us. Further purification for us is not become king of Vidyadhara Loka and zoom around in an airplane in the sky, but learning lessons partly and then have further opportunity to learn further lessons. And then the ultimate lesson is the full shelter. Bhagavatam is nice. Like all sorts of range of circumstances are depicted if one is thoughtful when hearing, ask the question, what is the author, Vyasadeva, the compiler of Srimad Bhagavatam, what is he wanting us to understand? Besides, how is this possible or that? The details of the pastime. What was the intention of the author in compiling, in putting this into the Srimad Bhagavatam? It's a nice question. And it will help us get some clarity and a proper appreciation, ultimately proper appreciation for the shelter of everything, shelter of everyone and everything, and how, as the Bible says, the Lord moves in mysterious ways. So how to understand those mysterious ways. He's there. And one may not understand, in our practical life, something may be happening we don't understand. It's okay. It happens. We don't understand. Stay with it. And it may in this case, Chitraketu became revealed. He achieved spiritual perfection. That's a big attainment, spiritual perfection. And then it's meant for us to attain spiritual perfection, despite the twists and the turns of events in our life. Big adventure. Krishna consciousness. There's a lot in the purport. Let's see if there's some discussion. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I see that in this particular Leela, when Parvati was cursing King Chitraketu, she did not see him as a Vaishnava. She see him as the lowest of the Kshatriyas, ordinary person. And I noticed that the claim she made is Chitraketu not only offended Lord Shiva, but he offended many people, from Lord Brahma to Narada to a list of great saintly persons. And that is the I think it's quite interesting, because she's making a case for not only one person, but the over, say, because Chitraketu disregarded a long list of saints from beginning from Lord Brahma, he is offending all of them altogether. And I noticed Shukadeva Goswami actually was supporting Parvati in cursing Chitraketu. Shukadeva Goswami was saying Chitraketu's behavior is displeasing to both of them. So I think he is, interestingly, is justifying Parvati's decision. And then I think maybe Parvati, from my point of view, Parvati also take a risk by cursing Chitraketu, because there is the possibility is there, like when Chitraketu was, say, become a demon, then he would further go down and go down and go down, and without attaining any spiritual perfection, rather become a more demonic demon. That's my thank you.
My reading is different than yours. What I just heard you say is Chitraketu offended Lord Brahma and Narada and this one and that one.
Yeah, that's the language Parvati used. She
My reading is that they were the offenders because they didn't speak up. I'll read text 11. Alas, has this upstart now received a post from which to punish shameless persons like us? Has he been appointed ruler? Who appointed him? Carrier of a rod, of the rod of of the rod of punishment? Is he now the only master of everything? Alas! Lord Brahma, who has taken his birth from the lotus flower, does not know the principles of religion. He should have chastised him. He should have checked him. That's my reading. She is speaking strongly about these personalities that were silent. And she's not going to remain silent. That's my reading. Nor do the great saints like Brigu and Narada, nor the four Kumars headed by Sanat Kumar. Manu, so they, all these people know better, but they said nothing. Manu and Kapila have also forgotten the religious principles. Now, Chitraketu didn't say all that stuff. She says it. Maybe I'm missing something.
yes. Like when Chitraketu was cursing Lord Shiva, he is thinking himself beyond all these personalities, and in that way, he is transgressing and offending all these personalities.
It's definitely a different way to read it.
Verse, I'm quoting verse 15, but verse 15 especially, the plural is used, offense against exalted saintly persons in this world. Anyways, just a thought.
Definitely a different reading. I don't think it's wrong. It's definitely a different reading. See, she's the Shakti of Lord Shiva constitutionally, and in a relationship of husband wife, she's the protector defender of her husband. So back to the statement: how did this fellow, unqualified as he is, get this appointment of the carrier of the rod of chastisement, and feels now authorized to chastise Lord Shiva? Who's this upstart? And who gave him that post? Anyway, so different readings. Any further discussion? Yeah,
Maharaj, here,
you have a doubt.
yeah, sorry. Here, in text 12 itself,
12.
yeah, at the end, Mother Parvati is saying, I suppose it to be because of that they have not tried to stop Lord Shiva from behaving improperly. So she's finding fault with Chitraketu that he is bypassing his authority, right? Even though elderly people, exalted persons are there, they did not say anything.
Yeah,
But
you're saying the same thing I'm saying.
yeah.
And then, so what's your question? What's your doubt?
So I think what I'm saying, Mother Parvati is finding fault with Chitraketu only, not anybody else.
Okay.
But
But
one point,
your preamble was, I have a doubt.
yeah,
So what's
the
the doubt?
others being silent. Others being silent. One point you mentioned, they did not speak anything,
Mhm.
even though Chitraketu was talking. Others did not speak anything. Only Parvati took offense.
Okay. So what's the doubt? I'm trying to understand the
Yeah.
spirit of your question.
Yeah.
What's the doubt?
So the explanation here, I think they given, since Lord Shiva is silent, they also remain silent.
Oh,
So I'm thinking, so they did
Yeah,
not
but
done any offense of not saying
a
anything.
person that is maybe someone is insulting you, and you remain silent. That's okay. You know, if you speak up, oh yeah, say something in response.
Hmm.
You don't defend yourself. You remain silent. And Lord Shiva is Ashutosh. Now he can certainly say something. He has the position, but he said nothing. And so that's not inappropriate
Yeah.
that they said nothing. That could be that he said nothing, but they said nothing. My understanding is she's shaking her finger at those that said nothing. Like, I'm going to say something. So that's okay.
Sure.
Yes, we got a little controversy going on here.
So somewhere in the purport it said Chitraketu Maharaj he was complimenting Lord Shiva. Parvati misunderstood.
Yes, it doesn't say that in this section. I said it.
Ah.
And you step back from the whole pastime, and he's going to explain. I wasn't criticizing him, but I accept your curse.
Ah.
It was a compliment. Who has the capacity to sit with his wife on his lap and be undisturbed in a public forum? Like, who has that capacity? He's very special. He's not ordinary. It was a compliment. It's backhanded compliment.
Nice.
But she
Then what was her response when he gave explanation like that?
doesn't say she had already cursed him, but because he said
Was she regretting?
she doesn't say, but doesn't say.
Okay.
He's explaining himself, and she may have accepted or not accepted his explanation. I heard, and I know what you said, and it was you're criticizing Lord Shiva, and this is an appropriate punishment for one who does something like that. So that's one could assume that's her position, but she may be shifted. Oh, really? Oh, now I understand. You were complimenting him. We don't hear that. Possible. We don't hear that. Okay.
So one lesson I can learn from this is like no matter Mother Parvati is servant of Krishna too. Like she's a maternal nature, modes of maternal nature, right? Mother Parvati, she's She's the one who is
This is her place.
that's her place. Like she's servant of Krishna, right?
No, well, she's servant of Krishna, but this is her place. This is, Devi Dham.
Mm.
She's in charge.
Mm.
She's the prison warden. And this is her prison.
So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the metal nature is my energy and my direction.
Yeah, she does what Krishna wants.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So even though one is in that exalted, I mean, spiritually in that position, it's possible that they may misunderstand.
But Krishna can have anything.
Sorry?
Krishna can arrange anything to happen. One of those things is this nice devotee, Chitraketu, I want him to come back to me quickly. And one arrangement is let her curse him.
Mm.
And he becomes a demon, and then, he does what he does, and Indra gets some lessons. So he can, from what appears to be a demon.
So Mother Parvati was inspired by Krishna to do that?
She doesn't act independently.
Mm.
The Shakti doesn't act independently of the Shaktiman. So she is, there's Lord Shiva himself, but she is Krishna's energy. She is Krishna's energy. Devi. And that this Devi Dham is under Krishna's direction. So stuff that happens here is Krishna has to sanction, or it doesn't happen. Whatever it is. So Krishna approved.
Thank you very much.
And then other lessons to be learned downstream by Indra, hearing from a demon, transcendence, the Vritrasura's instructions to Indra are very powerful. So Krishna wanted. So Parvati, can you arrange? Yes.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. If we think about subtly, like the whole story of Chitraketu as a sadhaka, it's pure mercy what Supreme Lord is showing with this Leela, right? Like this is like just a takeaway what I'm thinking. At each incident of a sadhaka or a devotee or a Vaishnava, we will be having both action and reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And this Leela is helping us out in seeing more transcendentally what Supreme Lord wants us to do. Even though initially he will give that kind of a correctness, here in this case, Mother Parvati has corrected Chitraketu.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it was like a pure mercy given to Chitraketu.
Yes. When just on that particular small piece, because it's a big puzzle with small pieces, that small piece of a Vaishnava, in this case Parvati, may say or do something that appears to be very harsh.
Yeah.
But the nature of a Vaishnava is they don't say or do something that's very harsh. It may look, but there's something behind it and something behind that, something behind that. Just, yesterday evening, this as a for example, after our class here, I spent time with preparing for, the upcoming events. And one of the lessons that in the matter of respect is respect superiors. And by the blessings of superiors, one may be successful. Not by my own qualification alone, but by the blessings of superiors. So there's and as an example, this example is narrated. Ram's lifting and breaking the bow of Lord Shiva. So in Ramcharitmanas, it's different. We'll be discussing this as we, during the time we spend together. But Valmiki Ramayana and Ramcharitmanas differ. And a part that's similar, although the narration is different, is first in Ramcharitmanas, Janak, Janak is one of our Mahajans, one of our 12 great authorities. He makes this bold declaration about Sita came from the earth, and she deserves a most qualified husband, and the most qualified husband has to pass the test. And this heirloom that's within our family line, here's how it came. So a suitable hero has to be able to lift, didn't even say string, just lift the bow. And no one could lift the bow. So he then makes this concluding statement when they all failed. It appears there's no longer any heroes here in this world. And so I've offered this vow that it appears that Sita will not be married in this lifetime because there's no hero powerful enough to just lift the bow.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lakshman is there. Said, wait a minute. With Ramchandra here, there's no hero. You better be careful how you speak. He's defender of that. That's his spirit. That's his mood. And Ram remains silent. Vishwamitra glances. He didn't even say anything. He just glances and nods at Ram. Ram understands what that means. So you want me to? Okay. So then in Ramcharitmanas, there isn't a whole big production. In Valmiki Ramayana, there's a big production. How many hundreds of men and a cart with so many wheels, and they just bring it before Lord Ramachandra, and then he lifts it and breaks it. But the message in Ramcharitmanas is that we're going to be discussing is the nature of a qualified person is without blessings they don't act. And when they act with blessings, then there's success. But they only act, and Arjuna and this and that and the other. Blessings are an imperative essence in bhakti. So we'll hear some more about that topic, but receiving blessings is an essential part of carrying forward in spiritual life or bhakti, life of devotion to Krishna. And therefore, the overall topic is respect. But respect to whom? Then anyway, so certainly respect to superiors. So Ramachandra viewed Vishwamitra as a superior, a Brahmana, and he's a Kshatriya, and he's given him, mantras and this and that and the other. So he's not going to act without a nod, silent nod. So we don't find, just go back to this particular pastime, we don't find any acknowledgement from either Lord Shiva or Krishna to Parvati to do what she did. But we can understand in principle that a pure devotee has Krishna within their heart, and Krishna indicates to that pure devotee to do this, that, or the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
For to serve the Lord's purpose.
Yep.
Like Lord Brahma, stealing the calves and cowherd boys and all of that is induced by the personality of Godhead.
Thank you.
In background. You have something.
Yes.
I thought so.
So now Chitraketu did not say anything.
He
And
didn't what?
he did not say anything. He is kept quiet. And does it mean that he accepted his mistake and also he's
Well,
feeling guilty?
he's going to speak. That's
Going-
coming up. He hasn't said anything yet because he has nothing to say about it. He did. He made a compliment of Lord Shiva, which Parvati saw as an insult. She perceived it as an insult, and she responded.
Mm.
Now he's going to speak.
Okay.
And what he's going to say is, Mataji, mother, you've misunderstood. I was honoring and praising such a qualified person. Who has this qualification but Lord Shiva? But you've understood differently, so be it. You've cursed me, so be it.
Mm.
I accept. You're my mother. There's a higher purpose in all of this, and I accept that. So he became a demon. But, with an explanation, not, take back your curse and apologize to me for cursing me. He didn't do that.
Thank you, Maharaj. So one more question on the 15th verse. The first statement said that one should be very careful, not commit offenses at the lotus feet of Vaishnavas.
Yeah.
So in our case, maybe it's by nature or maybe by a being or the way that they grew up. Some people may speak in certain way,
Yeah.
but other Vaishnava may take that as an offense.
That happens, doesn't it?
Yes, it
Yes.
happens. So how to handle? Because the person who speak doesn't recognize it's an offense because the nature is like that.
Well, it depends. You smile. You can say, yeah, a nice response is what to do in a circumstance like that. Chitraketu. He didn't stand behind his explanation. He just offered her the explanation. Mataji, with respect, I've been misunderstood. I meant this, and you took it to be that. Okay. He didn't try to change her view. He just expressed. So it depends on the circumstance, what's going on, what you're going to say, or if how you're going to say it, and depends. And sometimes some just leave it, just let it go, or introspect and say maybe there's something about how I say what I say that it leads people to misunderstand what I say. Okay, so it depends. Ultimately, pleasing Krishna. Stay focused on that principle, and then there can be multiple options following behind what to do when something. And there can be multiple ways to please Krishna, but that be the spirit behind doing something, not doing something, doing it this way, doing it that way. When you're doing something with that intention that Krishna should be pleased, Krishna is not going to misunderstand your intention. Somebody else may misunderstand. Oh, da 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 da. Got your hand in the cookie jar.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. See the Prabhupada. Yeah.